Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and today I'm taking a look at the Raxium Axial Series fender vent lights fitting 2018 and newer JL Wranglers. If you want to give your JL some extra spice and some additional lighting, these are the perfect way to do it. The stock fender vents don't do much even from a stylistic perspective, so these are going to add a little extra something for a very reasonable price. The stock little fender vents on JLs don't really do anything of substance, so why not replace them with something a little bit more interesting? Instead of just plain old black plastic, you get some additional lighting in there with these. In place of the open vent design, you get these 2 amber SMD LED strips. They're going to give you a nice sharp clean line of light all the way through the lens. There's no single point of light like you might get with an incandescent bulb. These whole thing, both of them are going to light up. Since these are LEDs, they're going to have a nice long lifespan and be pretty bright as well. And while these aren't going to make a big impact on your visibility from behind the wheel, it is going to make your Jeep just that much more visible and help it stand out on the street or the trail. Now the clear lenses here are almost going to bring a bit of that sleek, kind of European type of style. It makes for a nice clean look. Overall, it's a really subtle upgrade, one that you may not even notice at first glance, but once you pop those lights on, there is no way to miss them. And I think they complement the JL styling quite well, almost like something you could have gotten from the factory as an option or even just right out of the gate. Now these will require you to wire them in, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. Construction here is all OEM grade ABS plastic for the housings, so they're strong and lightweight. And you've got your standard polycarbonate material for the lens. Of course, these are weather sealed to keep out dirt and moisture and protect all the electronics inside. And again, since the lights are LEDs, they're going to be much brighter and have a longer lifespan than an incandescent bulb would. And they come with quite a bit of wiring here to get them hooked up, as well as some automotive grade double-sided tape already pre-installed to help keep them in place on the body of your Jeep, plus the requisite clips here to get everything in place. So it's going to be a pretty simple installation, just going to have to run a little bit of wiring. And overall, these are pretty solid, and they feel pretty similar to what you might get as a factory option, but they look quite a bit more interesting. Pricing is going to come in at about $75 for the set as you see them here, making this a really affordable modification and one that can fit into almost any budget. And when you're doing a build, sometimes even the small details can make a big difference, and this is definitely something that you could count in that category. It's a little thing, but once you see it on the car, I think you're gonna really like it. And I'm a big fan of anything that is in the $100 or less type of category, especially when it provides both an aesthetic and functional improvement, which is exactly what we've got here. So if you're looking for that added little touch, I think you'll be pretty happy here. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and it should take you about 2 hours to get this completed, as again, these do require you to do a little bit of wiring. Now since these are not taking the place of another set of factory lights, you're going to have to wire them to get them to go on with your running lights. But it is only 2 wires per side, power and a ground, so it's really not too much. If you've ever spliced a wire before, you're going to be able to do this pretty easily. And to show you exactly what you got to do, let's jump on out to the install bay right now.
For this install, you will need wire strippers and crimpers, panel removal tool, clip removal tool, ratchet, 8mm socket, and not included but will be needed to complete wiring are male spade connectors, butt connectors, T-taps, and wires. What's up guys, today we're going to be installing some fender lighting on our Wrangler, so let's get started. So to start things off, we've got our hood popped and we're going to go ahead and remove the factory vent off of our fender. And to do that, we're going to grab a panel removal tool and go ahead and pop this thing out of place. Work behind it, get it to pop. Now it's a little bit of a tight fit back here, but you are able to get it out without removing the fender. And just pop it out, and we'll go ahead and set this factory one aside. And now that we got this out, you can go ahead and do the same thing for your other side. All right, so now that we have our factory fender vent off, we're ready to prep our new fender vent lights before they go on. Unfortunately, this kit does not come with any sort of pre-connection, mounted wiring or anything like that, but it's very simple what we're gonna do. So we're actually gonna extend our wiring a bit to give us a little more leeway where we're gonna hook it up. So we got some red wire and some black wire, and we'll go ahead and extend these out, and then we'll attach our male spade connectors on, and we're just gonna T-tap into our harness, but we'll show you all that in a minute. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and cut about 5-6 feet of extra wire, because why not, right? Get that situated. And we'll use our wire strippers and crimpers to go ahead and just cut a section here. So we have black. Do the same thing for our red wiring. And roughly about an arm's length wingspan, so to speak, just to give us a little buffer to connect where we need to. Go ahead and pop that off. Now we have it done for this side. You can go ahead and cut wires for both sides as well. So now we've got ourselves some butt connectors, and we're going to go ahead and add those on to the pre-strip portion of our lighting wiring here. We've got our butt connector in place. Now we're going to grab our wire strippers and crimpers, and we'll go ahead and give these a good crimp on this side. And after you have it crimped, you want to give it a little tug just to make sure you have a firm connection. Seems like we could go a little farther here. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing for our black wire here. Get that in place, and again, we'll go ahead and crimp it all down. Sure we have a good connection. So now we're going to grab our wiring that we cut to extend this here lighting. We're going to go ahead and grab our wire strippers and crimpers. We'll strip off a good bit from this side. And just make sure you don't have any fray strands of your wire sticking out. We'll go ahead and add this into the other side of our butt connector here. And again, we'll grab our strippers and crimpers, and we'll go ahead and crimp that down into place. Want to give it a good tug again, make sure it's got a nice connection. And we'll do the same thing for our red wire. Go ahead and strip a good bit off. Make sure you got no strays. Go ahead and insert that into the butt connector. Grab our crimpers, and we'll go ahead and give this a good crimping. A good tug, make sure we have good connection. And again, once you have this complete for this one, you can go ahead and repeat these same steps for your other fender light. Now we're going to go ahead and add our male spade connectors to the other ends of our wire extensions. We'll grab our strippers and crimpers, and again, get a nice little section off of there. Grab our male spade connector, put that in place. Grab our crimpers, and we'll go ahead and give this a good crimp. And again, you always want to give it a tug, make sure your connection is secure. And we'll do the same thing for our black wire. Pop that off. And go ahead. And sometimes twisting the end of your wire here is going to help it go into your connector better. However, you don't want to go too crazy with it, just give it a few little twists. Crimp that one down. Then you can go ahead and do that same thing for your other side. So now we're going to get ready to install our light and wiring onto the vehicle. Now the way we found to do it, which is pretty simple, is to come right to the DRL itself, so we can wire it in and just work it off the DRL switch. Makes it nice and easy. You can feel free to wire it up however you would like, but this is just the way we thought to do it, and it seems pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead and grab our clip removal tool, and we'll start popping our tabs out so we can drop down our fender liner so we can access our running light. So we'll go ahead and start removing our push tabs here. And there should be one at the bottom as well. Ours have a few missing. There should be one right back here. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove our two 8mm screws holding the front of our fender liner up, and we're going to grab our 8mm socket on our ratchet to go ahead and pull those out. So now that we have those out, we have access to the inside of our fender liner, and we'll be able to run our wires up to our DRLs here. So one thing to help us fish our wiring through where it needs to go here is taping our two ends of our wires together. So it'll come through a little bit easier in one piece. We don't have to try to get them both through separately. Kind of creates a little bit more rigidity as well, so we can push it through tight spots without it getting all messed up. So now that we have that taped up, we'll go ahead and begin fishing it through the backside of our fender. So now we're ready to start fishing our wires through, and I've got my fender liner pulled down so I can reach my arm back and feel in between the crease of the body lines at the fender here. So we'll go ahead and start feeding this wire through. And you want to make sure it's in the top side hole, because where your light is going to sit, this is where they come out of the light itself. So we're going to find our wires here. Okay, now we've got them pulled through here. Work them up to where we need them to be. We're going to pull them all the way through so where our light is going to sit. Okay. Not going to fully install our light yet. We're just going to let it sit there so we can go ahead and get our wiring sorted up here. So now we can come to our DRL wiring, and we're going to add these T-tabs into the wiring harness for our DRLs. So these do not come with the kit, but they are cheap and readily available at any auto parts store or hardware store. So we'll just go ahead and line the metal clamp portion up with our wire here. Make sure that seats in good. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to get into place. Then we're going to close our T-tap around that. Give it a really good squeeze to make sure that metal clamp really pinches in past the sheathing. And we're going to do the same thing for our other wire here. Now you may need to pull some of your factory loom or electrical tape back to get enough room for both of these to go in here. Go ahead. Get this one in place as well. And we'll give it a good, really good squeeze. Make sure it goes through. Another good idea is to kind of, once they're closed and squeezed, you can kind of work them back and forth. That'll get those clamps through the sheathing a little bit better. So now we can go ahead and grab onto our wiring, get it unwrapped. So we're going to take our red wire and plug it into our white with yellow stripe wire. And that goes right into the T-tap. This male spade connects in there. Then our black to black for ground. Then we're going to just tuck our excess wiring in to our fender liner. Now again, this is all kind of, you can wire it and do it however you'd like to make it your own. We're just going to simply tuck ours in out of the way just for demonstration purposes. So now we can go ahead and get our light into place. Go ahead and line all our tabs up. Give it a good push. Make sure all of our clips go in. And then we can come back and reattach our fender liner. So now we can go ahead and get our fender liner back into place. Tuck it back up in. And we can go ahead and reinstall our push pin clips. Next, we can go ahead and reinstall our two 8mm screws for the front of our fender liner. And again, we're going to grab our 8mm socket on our ratchet. Go ahead, get these back into place. So now once you have this process totally complete for this side, you can go ahead and repeat these same steps for your other side. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our Raxium Axial Series Fender Vent LED light for your 18 to current Jeep Wrangler JL. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.